globally, my job, I think, man, let's do it up, man, it's a Sunday. It's all about my big boss, my friend, you don't know, my brother, Ella.
We got Samuel from Madison, New Hampshire, 7 years old.
We got the really nice detail. I love looking at the eyelashes. We got nice catch light in the eyes. I would kind of clear up the background a little bit. It's a little busy.
Here's a really neat picture of a cat, I assume, and it's got some really neat detail and some soft fur. I think I might like to have seen this a little bit further distance to get a little better perspective of the cat itself, but I like it.
Well, this beach scene is well done. I like the clouds. I like the foreground, and even though you can't see detail in the people, you kind of know who they are without having to see them face to face. I like it a lot.
You've taken a really interesting concept. You've done a pretty good job with it. Your Photoshop work and knocking out the desaturation is good. You do need to pay attention to your backlighting, though.
Another really cool shot of nature, and I love the depth of field on this one, the clarity of what you're looking at versus the fogginess of what's in the background. I think it works really well for this subject.
Well, here we have a piece of furniture. It looks like a swing, well exposed, but I think it needs a little interest. And either someone sitting on it or perhaps a dog sprawled out on it, sleeping, something like that.
I really like your choice of black and white, desaturating it for this shot. It really takes you back to that time period. The clarity is really good, and I can feel the texture.
This photo of a blue eye is just spectacular. I really love the clarity. I love the Photoshop, but more importantly, I love the emotion of this eye and the story that it's telling. It's just a great shot.
Well, you can probably tell the first thing I'm going to have to say is to take your timestamp off when you're reproducing things for competition. But it's a good try at looking up into the canopy. Not bad shot at all.
Awesome. I love breakfast. It's my favorite meal. I love the strawberries. I love the depth of field. I love the color. I love everything about the shot.
Pass
You
the
did a
milk.
great job.
This is also a really neat try at a rustic feel and just a little over Photoshop perhaps, maybe a little less Photoshop would have given you a more natural feel, but it's very interesting.
Well, it looks like we have a studio shot here advertising this product. It's really well done. We can read the most up forward containers, and the ones to the rear, we don't really need to see them as plainly, and we don't.
You've done a really great job here in pulling out the characteristic that you see in this animal. The cat eye is what we relate to, and the use of the focus is.
I like this nature shot. The clarity of the subject itself is very, very strong, which is what you're looking for, and the unfocused rest of it, so your eye is brought right to the subject. Good job.
This is the first of a number of flowing water shots that you're going to see tonight. And these kind of pictures do take a lot of practice to either freeze the motion or to make it look particularly milky. This one also looks a little out of focus, but a good try.
This is a really fun shot. I like it. The clarity is there. The color is there. You could throw a little bit more mud on those sneakers to really get the contrast, and watch your cropping.
This is a really neat inside of a covered bridge, and we all know that's a favorite subject among many people. I think the line works really well, taking you over and across the bridge. Maybe the lighting, it's a little bit overexposed.
This may be one of those shots that's crying to be a macro shot, to get the detail in those little suckers, for lack of a better name, that left over from the plant when it was in full flower. Could be interesting.
I think what you're going for here is the power of the water. Zoom in. Don't be afraid to get too close. Right now, I don't know where to rest my eye, but you want to zoom right in on that bridge. Feature.
This is a really neat shot, but I think your focus was on the snow and not the deer. And my eye wants to gravitate to the snow, which is actually quite beautiful and quite unfocused. And it loses a little bit of the deer for me.
I think the photographer's intent here was to focus on the branch with the water droplets. Instead, the focus was on the tree trunk. It does take a little bit of trying and doing to focus on something that narrow, but try it.
Got some really great composition in this shot. I like the long outlook. You could pump up the color just a little bit, and your water is a little overexposed, but you've got a really great start.
Now this shot really shows the clarity of the water and the emotion and the fast pace of it coming down. It's an exciting shot too to see the colors in the background, and I like the blur.
Well, we happen to know this photographer really likes trucks, but this would be a lot stronger shot if you just crop things down so you got that dirtiest of all trucks, the big one, right center, and got rid of the other two.
This is an adorable puppy dog shot, and I don't know if it's a father-son or a mother-daughter, but to me it just is a family of puppies, and I like the clarity. I think they did a really nice job. It's a hard shot.
Here's another really nice, I think it's Diana's bath. You hit the water right on. It's not blown out. The ribbons are really nice, and crop a little differently, a little closer.
I've taken this shot a few times myself, and it is very hard to get everything in focus from the foreground up to those topmost limbs, but it is possible. So keep on trying to do that, and please remove that date and timestamp.
This is a wonderful shot. I can really feel the closeness of the animal. Watch your lighting a little bit. You need a little bit more light on his or her face, but I love the hay in the front.
And another really neat blue eye shot. This one does show a lot of clarity, and the focus is on the eye, so I think I would have liked to see it a little more cropped in.
This is our first portrait, and it's fabulous. I like this person immediately, and the work that you've done with her eyes, she pops right off the screen.
Well, there apparently was a field trip to Diana's baths. I get that idea anyway. And I like this shot best of all of them, especially with that swatch of color over in the corner. Makes this shot for me. I like it a lot.
This one's a really happy shot, and I love the clarity of the inside of the flower. I also like the depth of field with the out of focus background, but it's all very interesting and did a really wonderful job. Colorful and happy.
Well, I am always a sucker for colorful flowers, and this is exactly that. Appears to be well in focus. The purple flowers behind, a little bit distracting from the primary subject in the front.
Technically, this is a fabulous shot. I love your choice of black and white. Your aperture setting to get the depth of field is great. Really nice shot.
This is a really fun one. Black and white works with this, especially with the eyes. I knew whether the emotion was surprise or fear. Maybe the mouth would have helped, but I like the depth of field.
Well, you could do this 100 times before you get it right. And I think this is mostly right. It's a tough, tough shot to stop that action well. And again, I give you a lot of credit for trying, and for the most part, you did get it right.
I like him. You did a good job on your whites. You need to work on your focus a little bit. Don't be afraid to get up too close with your zoom. But you've got some good color going on in there.
Well, this is a good representation of how difficult it is to take a picture of the sun. Because the sun is so overpowering, it does all kinds of nasty things to your lens, and you can see some of that in this picture. But good try.
The clarity here is really, really good, and I love the lighting, the textures. I do want to see more of that bottom door where the flags all point to that end of the church and it's cut off.
This is a really beautiful color shot with sunrise or sunset, but the horizon is beautiful. I would like to see the buoy or whatever on the left bottom cut out a little bit and the focus a little sharper on the boat, but great job.
Well, how do you look away from those eyes? You don't. And in any kind of portraiture, the eyes are all important. If you don't get them right, the portrait isn't going to be very effective, but this is great.
You've got a really great start here in floral photography. Your depth of field is really good. The colors are great. You want to get all your pinks in focus though. Work on that part and you've got it.
This shot really works for me, and I'm drooling. It just looks so delicious with the glaze, but the sharpness is excellent on the donuts. And I like the emotion of the girl in the back, so really great job here. Boy, those donuts look humongous.
Well, here is a totally set up shot, but it is magnificent. Well lit throughout, and it does what I think the photographer wanted to do and isolate that player and the goalie grabbing that ball.
You've done a really nice job with this portrait. Your stop action is fabulous. You want to move her away from the background a little bit and blow that background out and take off the bracelets, and you've got a super shot.
Love the clarity on this one, and you really emphasize the subject being the water droplets on the back of that leaf. I think it's a beautiful shot. I love the warm colors, and it really works well for me.
This could be an exercise in leading lines, but lots of different directions you could go with this. One thing I might do a little differently, put a little more light on the sign so it makes the writing on the sign a little more readable.
I get where you're going on this, and you are almost there. You need a little more distinction between the board and the road, and you're pointing right down the street, so make sure you're pointing at something really, really super.
Well, this picture of the sun is well focused, certainly no problem there. But one thing that I would do with this is hang it in a different position or something where you will not have distracting things like that window frame in the back, or crop it out if you can.
This is a nature shot at its best. Those colors are interesting and dynamic. I love the green in the background. And I love the unfocusedness, but the clarity. I would love to have seen it as a vertical, but it's a great shot.
Well, this is kind of an interesting idea, holding this picture up, which represents probably what you would be seeing down that very same street. Looks a little grainy and dark. So unless that's what you were trying for, you may want to correct that.
Here we are at Diane's bath again. I love it. I like the texture in the leaves. The colors are really, really good. I'm a stickler about dead trees, though. Got to get the dead trees out.
This is a really neat nature shot, and reds and greens just pop out you, and the mushrooms are so clear. I think you did a wonderful job focusing on the subject, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful photo.
I like the shot. I love the ocean. You did a great job in the color of the water, and the transparency of the water really shows up. I think I might have cropped it a little bit or tried to get a little bit more of a silhouette.
This is an excellent composition. You work so well together, all of the shapes and colors. Even the man's shirt, notice that it's blue, same blue as the paint on the building.
You've done a great job with the exposures in the windows and the darkness on the inside. It really works. It tells a story. It makes you wonder what happened here. It's kind of eerie.
And another water shot. Fun, really fun. It's hard to do water, and I like the clarity and the wetness of the rocks and the wetness of the leaves. The water you have to work on just a little bit, but it's fun. I love the way how it runs off to the bottom right-hand side.
Well, in this scenic shot, you could look at those telephone lines up there as leading lines or a distraction. I, for one, would try to move my feet over and move the camera and take it without just peacock.
I'm so excited I get the peacock. I love the shot. Why? Because you filled the photo with your main image. Nothing detracts from that peacock. It's fabulous.
Another really great shot with lots of colors and lots of emphasis on the subject, which is the water droplets coming. I love the reflections in the water droplets, and the clarity is so beautiful. I love the background as well as the focus.
This is another into the sun shot that fares a little better than the previous one, since the clouds obscure the sun somewhat. I'm a little concerned about the purpley look here and just wondered if the saturation button got twisted a little too hard.
I think it's very dramatic. The clouds are great, the fabulous, the texture in the trees. You need to straighten that baby out a little bit, though. If you're going for the crooked effect, I'm not quite sure why. Nice shot.
This is a really neat macro shot of that flower, and I think it does a great job showing the emphasis of the inside of the flower and the focus on that. It is pretty in the background as well, maybe just a little different cropping.
Well, I'm probably one of the few people that can act in the audience tonight who can actually appreciate this radio out of, I don't know, a 1957 point. Who knows? But it's certainly, there's more to that story.
This is another one of my favorite shots. You did a great job bringing in the focus, the lanes, getting the fence out of focus so that it's not distracting. Maybe a little different angle, but it's great.
Water, water everywhere. I think this one really works well. I like the cropping on it. I love the lighting on the water. I think it emphasizes the motion, and I like it a lot.
I can see next year we're going to have a separate category, Diana's Baths. Although this might not be Diana's, it is a good attempt again at milking up the water as opposed to freezing it. There's some interesting rocks there.
Another really cool shot. You did some excellent Photoshop work. The background is just blurred enough. I would crop out the bottom right a little bit. Good job.
The creative photography here is really fun. I think the rose dress is just beautifully and focused and well lit. I would like to see the feet of the individual and maybe a little more separation from the wall and the elbow.
Well, I have to admit, even though this is Diana's Baths, this one is taken from the other side of the river from an angle that you usually don't see. And I really enjoy this. I like the stop action on the water instead of the milkiness.
We've got another eye, and it's fabulous. Good use of desaturating the skin to make the blue pop. I'm not quite sure if there's a Photoshop in the iris, but the colors are gorgeous.
This is a perfect cameo shot, and the emphasis on the black versus white is just beautiful. But I think it even works better with the red on the shirt, and you can even see the clarity of the red material. Great.
Love these seashells. And for the most part, the depth of field is wonderful. I mean, this is a pretty tight shot, and having the depth of field be right is a little bit tricky. So good shot for you.
This is another one of my favorite shots. I mean, there is the cover of Woodworking Magazine. I feel the story, I get the textures, the colors, the richness, the focus. There is not anything that I don't love about it.
I think this shot is very dramatic, and it's hard to do a dark shot like this, but you can really get the emphasis of the clouds in that shot and the leading lines, and I think the subject is well lit and very in focus.
I like this shot. I kind of decided that the photographer was trying to match up the silhouette of the woman on the beach with the mountains. To make it even stronger, crop that beach a little closer.
It's a fabulous example of simplicity and leading lines and texture and focus. And it all leads to a lot of drama, and it's a great shot.
What's in focus on this one is the grass and the pavement, and I'm not sure if that's what you were going for. It is hard to shoot into the sun, and I like the idea of shooting through the chain link. Very interesting.
Well, I thought this was one more shot into the sun, but the sun is hiding behind a cloud. And doesn't that help? Look at the God beams. I like this shot a lot. It's apples.
You've got a great start going here. Your focus is good, the colors pop. Your background is really fighting with your main image, so make sure you don't have anything interfering. If it's not adding, it's taking away.
This is a bit of an interesting shot in that it looks like the photographer in post-processing went a little wild with the pink tint, but it works because I think it emphasizes the bullfight in the picture.
This is a really beautiful shot, and it really takes you down the stairs and through that tunnel. And, you know, obviously the green against the red is very vibrant, and it really shows a lot of depth.
Wow. Everything about this photo works for me. Even the photographs hanging on the wall in succession gone up. The leading lines take you right up the stairs. It is awesome.
Another great real estate shot here, and it really does emphasize the outside, which is very, very interesting. But I also love the peeling paint on the door and the image of the shade all torn. Great, great photo.
Well, one more example of how important the eyes are in any kind of a portrait or storytelling kind of picture. These eyes look like they're pretty well focused, although the left one might be needing a little more light.
This is a fabulous studio shot. The colors are great. The whites are not blown out in the tomatoes. The focus is so good. I can see the little hairs on the stem. I want spaghetti for supper.
It's a very pretty silhouette of a tree and a very, very soft focus with soft colors in the background too. I think I would have cropped it up a little bit or seen the base of the rest of the tree, but it works really well as a vertical.
I believe this person was using a fisheye lens to get this effect, but this is what it's supposed to look like when you're lying on the ground looking up into the canopy. Great shot. Thank you.
You've done a really nice job on the water. I love the mist at the top of the rocks. You want to change your exposure a little bit so I can see a little bit more of the face of those rocks. Great job.
This is a beautiful green shot, and it has a lot of softness to it. I like the background to it as well and the clarity of the pines. If you were looking for the water droplets, you missed that, but keep trying. It's a beautiful shot.
Well, look at that clothespin. Look at the frost and snow on it. You can see just about every flake of frost or snow, and the leading line that creates to the rear of that building is fantastic.
One of the assignments that I give my class is to shoot textures, and this is a really great example. Would like to see it more as a vertical because I quite wasn't sure what it was, but now that I can see the concrete, I like the feel and the cold.
The colors here are very beautiful. It's like a rainbow of sherbets, and the emphasis of the pinks and the purple on the snow work really well. I like the cropping. I like the leading lines out to the right, and the
I'm going to guess that this person was going for those colorful rocks up there and got a bunch of snow, and you notice it's kind of blue snow as well, which really doesn't happen in nature very often, and the shadow is in there.
I really like the shot. I like the time of the day. You have to react very quickly to get snow in the trees before the wind blows it all out. It's got a beautiful softness, and just a hint of those mountains sets it.
Well, we're going to bring our time at Diana's Baths to a close with these last three shots, which I think are equally good. I think that it shows that there's been some practice on trying to get the water to look right, and this was on kind of a foggy, misty day, and certainly do get the feel for that, which sometimes is not the easiest thing in the world to portray, but compliments to these last three photographers for what they got. And again, the motion in the water here, in this particular one, freezing it, very nice.
Well, it says not good enough, but this photo is excellent. I think it's got the words right where they had planned. It was well set up, well lit, well in focus, and boy, evokes a great emotion.
really appreciate the Camera Club putting on such a great event for students around the Mount Washington Valley and other surrounding areas, and I think that it's a really good opportunity to have your work seen by professionals and your peers as well. I like photography because it can be involved in just your everyday life, and you can use it to capture whether it be your friends or just like something amazing that happens, whatever it is, and just capture a certain moment in time that really can't be captured or saved any other way.
Why'd you enter the photo contest at Fryeburg Academy?
I just love taking pictures, and I thought it was an opportunity to show my professional skill off.
I might know a little something about that. What do you like to take pictures of if you have free time?
I like to take pictures of nature, and Mother Nature is just beautiful sometimes, so I like to express that.
Didn't you have a stream of photos called Animals in Motion that you recently did?
Yes, it was a line I did where I photoshopped random animals hidden into the pictures, and it really came out beautiful.
And are any of those photos going to be in this photo competition?
Unfortunately, they are not, but maybe in the future.
Well, great. Look forward to seeing them. And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Kinds of things I like to take pictures of most would be landscapes, animals, nature. I have a pretty wild picture of a cow nose that's very up close and personal. The thing I enjoy most about being a photographer is having, like, when I go on vacation, I have like photographs of pretty much everything I do, and it's always great to get to go back to those and see and remember everything that I did.